Hey, I guess I'm on already. So, as always, first I bid you greetings and blessings on this wonderful Wednesday. And on yesterday, just to share with you, I had the opportunity to see a legend that was here in San Diego, Mother Queen. And she's called Mother Queen is because she's a representative for the United Nations amongst Africans. And yesterday she was here in San Diego, and I had the opportunity to go and see and hear her speak at the World Beach Street Center here, and it was amazing. The turnout, the honors, the gifts that they gave her to Mother Queen was simply beautiful in honor and respect to our elders. So, with that being said, we're going to get right into this thing today, the killing of Hiram. The killing of Hiram. Now, I know for many of you who are Masons, who read great books, Hiram Key and all other sorts of novels, I know that you're great individuals who go and seek knowledge, who really breaks down a lot of things. So, in my own time and space, in reading in regards to Hiram Abiff, in reading back over that whole process, I started looking into the three ruffians who actually did the horrendous killing and murdering of Hiram Abiff. So what I discovered is that two things are happening in this process. One is physical, one is mental, and one is spiritual. Those three things are actually occurring during this process of the killing of Hiram Abiff. So, in looking and finding out who are those ruffians, what status that they have within the Gales, because it is said that Hiram usually was at his meditative state during that time of day. So it was around high noon when Hiram was slain, and this was the time for him to lay upon his trestle board and to meditate. So in the process of meditating and laying upon his trestle board, he met with those ruffians. So when you take a look at who they were, what status that they hold within the craft. So Jubilee, Jubilome, and Jubilee held a very high status within the craft. Now, you must realize they were fellow craftsmen. They was already headed into receiving the master's word. But what happened during that process is that they removed, when I say they, I'm speaking of Jubilee, Jubilome, and Jubilee, they removed all of the protection from around Hiram. Remember, there were 12 already plotting with them, but those 12 recanted. Now you get to those three, knowing who they were in the midst of all of the chaos that was happening, because there were chaos, because the temple had not yet been completed, and they wanted that word. They wanted the thing that can get them out of the country. They wanted the thing that can get them out of the country. So, in the process, they removed those individuals or those encampments that were supposed to be protecting Hiram at his time of meditation, at his time of thinking and laying upon the trestle board. They removed all of the guards. There was no guards. They were the only three. And they were stationed at each one of the gates that Hiram was going to try to escape out of. And during that process, here's what took place during that process. So during that process, you're going to look at a couple of things that was taking place. One is you're going to look at envy. Envy. There was envy of the fact that Hiram was the one, along with Hiram Abiff and Hiram Atai, knew exactly what was taking place. So there was envy of all of that. Then you're going to look at greed. They wanted it to themselves. They had to have it. They wanted it. Nothing was going to stop them from getting that which they wanted. Then their ego. The ego played a part. And in the process of the ego coming up, they were not going to accept no for an answer. That was not going to happen. They wanted his life if he was not going to give them that word. But what they tend to have forgotten is that it took three in order to receive it. Hiram, Hiram, and it was Hiram, Hiram, King Solomon, and Hiram. It took those three to relate the password. That's why he couldn't give it. And it was because of the ego and the envy and the greed that those three wanted it. Even though he pleaded for his life. And you have to remember that during that process of him pleading for his life, he begged them, hey, you know what? I can't give it unless it's in the presence of who? So as we look at the killing of Hiram, it was a setup. We all know he was set up. It was going to go down that way. It had to. And then, although they may have killed and slain him, they moved his body. They moved him on a Wesley's course. Now think about this here. For you Masons who have been raised, I bet you 80 to 90% of you, when somebody say, hey, which way you traveling? Most of you, 90% of you gonna say you're traveling east. That's what you gonna say. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that 90% of those of you who have asked the question as a Mason, ask that question, which way you're traveling, you're gonna say, traveling east. And you're not. You're not traveling east. I can tell you which way you're traveling, but you got to give me a call. You got to email for that one. I'm not just going to put that all out here, but you ain't traveling east. And I can prove it. I can show it to you written down. And that's a fact, because most of you, I'm traveling east, and you ain't traveling east. You don't even realize that envy, greed, and ego were the three ruffians themselves. See, every day, each one of us get up and we have to fight those ruffians that are in our lives. Every one of us. Greed, envy, and ego. We fight them daily. We do. Sometimes we give in to one or two of them. We do. We give in to it sometimes. I mean, let's just be real and honest with yourself. So every day we're fighting the ruffians to survive. Every day we're keeping and holding the secrets to survive. And this is the importance of Freemasonry and the lessons that it teaches in the third degree. But if you're smart and you're in the second degree, you will understand that everything is open to you. All the working tools are given to you in the second degree, except for one. And that one is the trial. And the reason you're not ready for the trial is because you must understand how to spread the semen of brotherly love. And you don't get that until you have found yourself to be proficient in those other degrees, to enter apprentice in the fellowcraft. And then you're given the most important working tool of them all, and that is the trial. That is one of the most important working tools of them all. And one working tool is left out. There's a working tool that is left out. The chisel is left out of the working tool sets that is given to you. Here in the United States, the European style of teaching Freemasonry, it is often said that you're only given two working tools, and that is the 24-inch gauge and a common gavel, and that is not true. And I only say European style of Freemasonry because that is the dominant side of Freemasonry here in the United States. It's a fact. And I'm just giving it to them because it is true. However, the teachings of Freemasonry resides in everyone's, and every lodge has the obligation to teach Masonry. I mean, the essence of Freemasonry. So in my jurisdiction, we tell you it's three working tools. A trial, three working tools. That's going to be the the common gavel, the 24-inch gauge, and the just escaped me. I can't even think of it right now. But there are three. It'll come back to me later. In the apprentice degree work. And we have to start telling it and giving it like it is. But every day, each one of us get up and we fight against envy, ego, and greed. Those three ruffians are at our door. They're willing us to give us the three death blows. But upon receiving all of those working tools, you're going to receive one in the end that is more precious than the others, although they complement each other. The chisel, that's it, the chisel. Ooh, that was a hard one. Boy, that thing right there. It's the chisel I was thinking about. So when you receive that, it is the beauty of working with them to construct that which is in your life. This is what you have to do. You have to be able to construct the very thing that's going to help you to become proficient in your life with those working tools. They mean so much to us who are Freemasons and what they represent. And when you're able to take that and apply it, it's a beautiful thing. Once you're able to apply the working tools and what they bring to your life, it's a beautiful thing. This is why we understand the killing of Hiram and how he was dealt with, because his integrity meant more to him than anything else. My life, you can have my integrity, never. But some of us are willing to turn over everything. Yeah, I give it to you. Just give it all up. And we're going to have to realize and look at it for what it is. No, I'm not giving that up anymore. My integrity is worth more to me than just giving it up, you know. My name is worth more than me and just tossing it over to the swines. And this, my friend, my sisters, is what you get out of the Eastern Star, out of the Freemasons. So much is talked about, but not enough is actually expressed or taught. And this is important in your jurisdiction. So when you look at these things that I handed to you, start to apply them to your daily life, and I guarantee you, once you begin to do that, you will see so much more out of Freemasonry. You will, because you have to realize Freemasonry welcomes everybody to the table. It welcomes everyone to the table. This is why it's not a religion as much it is focused on your own personal walk, your own personal belief. Because Freemasonry says that if you believe in a supreme being, and you have your book of faith with you, you're going to abide by your book of faith, which should teach you the basic constructs of life. Treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. Okay? That is the foundation, the golden rule. So in all of the faiths and religions that you come across, those are some of the golden tenets that we get, is to treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. This is why on the altar of Freemasonry we have the various books of faith. This is something that used to be taught a long time ago, is that you're going to arise, follow your God, and fear no danger. I've said that many times before. But in modern day ritualistic work that we receive, is going to say, rise, follow your guide, and fear no danger. Once you begin to understand the symbolic meaning behind a lot of Freemasonry and the esoteric hidden things that are in it, and you switch that and you turn on that light and you begin to become illuminated within Freemasonry, man, it's like, wow. It's like having a eureka moment. This is the importance of Freemasonry that I get, that I find that is so beautiful in all that it has to offer. You know, although you have the various jurisdictions around the world, once you begin to get the teachings and essence of Freemasonry, those walls come down. Hear me clearly. Once you get the teachings of the essence of Freemasonry, those walls come down, because your understanding, your ability to see things differently than anybody else takes you along that route. Now you're on a different journey than any man or woman. And this is the beauty of the Eastern Star also. This is why you walk the labyrinth. In some jurisdictions, you wind the labyrinth, because in the labyrinth of life, you're going to meet with some things that's going to probably deter you from continuing on that journey. See, I'm going to talk about the Eastern Star just for a second. In the Eastern Star works, when they talk about being on the point, see, because sisters, you don't have working tools. You operate on points. So if with there being 5 points, that means there are 5 elements to your life. That means there are 5 colors, which raises your chakras. That means that there's so much more happening as an Eastern Star compared to a Mason, till it's just unfreaking real, just unreal. Because in the order of the Eastern Star, there are colors which represents the chakras, the points which represents the stages of life of a woman that you're going to go through. It's all there for you, and it teaches you the benefit, and it gives you the example of how to be a woman and not a thought. That's what it does. You know, the value of a woman doesn't change. You know, it's actually something to be held to like, wow, you know, her value. You know, and that's the beauty of being an Eastern Star, because around the altar of the Eastern Star, you will find different things that's at the feet of the altar that relates right back to Masonry. You will find the evergreen, you will find the lamb, you will find the lion at the foot of the altar of the Order of the Eastern Star. There you will find the dove, but we don't talk about that. That's not usually something that is talked about. And I don't understand why, because it is one of the most beautiful things in the Order of the Eastern Star that you can get into. You know, everybody want to wear a crown, but they don't understand the sacrifices that you have to make to have the crown. There are sacrifices to having a position of leadership within this organization and society of Freemasonry. There are, what I would say, there's a word I'm looking for, I can't even think of it right now, but it'll come back to me later. But when I think about the being a Mason and being part of the Eastern Star, man, it is just freaking amazing. You know, my journey has taken me all over the place. My journey across this country, you know, and meeting various brothers from various jurisdictions. So if you are a Mason and you are Eastern Star, man, do you understand the society for which you are a part of and how it actually operates? Look, when I began to read about those Masons and Eastern Stars that was involved with the Underground Railroad, I'm talking about white Masons and Eastern Stars. I'm talking about black Masons and Eastern Stars, and the work that they put into it. I'm not talking about a Priest Hall Mason and Eastern Star or a John G. Jones Mason. I'm talking about the pure essence of the Order of the Eastern Star and the Freemasons, and what part that they play and in the freedom of slavery and the fight. Although we know that presidents had their part, you know, they had slaves and all that, but I'm just, you know, there was a battle going on. And it goes right back to what I was saying earlier in regards to that battle. Egos, greed, and there was one more. Ego, greed, and envy. We fight that battle every day. Every day you get up, you fight those damn three ruffians. And although you may succeed sometimes, you're going to lose to one of them. You're going to lose to one of them ruffians. That's a fact. That's a fact. So, look, I'm going to get ready to go. I didn't see much in the chat. I don't know why I didn't see much in the chat. Maybe because of the way I came on. But look, blessings to you. Peace to your family. And if you really want to know which way you're traveling, you're going to have to hit me up on a side note. Because you ain't traveling east. And I can prove it and show it to you in your own initiation writings. Peace and be well. Blessings. I think.